Welcome to Tackle the Board. I'm Russ Reese, the Vegas line reader, joined by my co-host, Chris Euksuzian. You can find him at Chris Ebom. I had a pretty good week. Ended up, I think, 4-1 or 4-2 on my free picks on Saturday and Sunday. Ended up hitting one of my big plays on the Browns. I love that play on Sunday. But Chris is actually red hot. He's actually 12-0 in college football and NFL since Thursday. He's been on a huge run right now. How you feeling, Chris?
Couldn't be any better. I think I was the hottest guy all week. If anyone could show me better than 12-0,
I mean, one's hotter than that. Yeah.
I even had a guy on Fox Sports, the Gambler, Mark Drumheller. He went like 5-0 on the NFL, but it just got poo-pooed real fast. We just dominated this weekend when it really came down to it. You had a great week. I had a great week.
Yeah.
It started off with UL Lafayette, which was probably the worst coached game I've probably ever seen in my lifetime. And then with the long snapper that almost screwed me, which was incredible. He had like 5 over snaps at least. I don't know how they don't take that kid out. How do you not take?
I don't know. Maybe the guy behind him's worse. Who knows?
It was humanly impossible because literally he threw literally it was a liability. Every punt was thrown way past the punter, and it was absolutely crazy. I was all over the game, and it should have been a cakewalk, but it is what it is.
That's
everything worked out well.
You always get a little bit of a sweat, right? You can't just
I mean, shockingly enough, the NFL Sunday, I had 0 sweat. The only sweat I had was the Colts, and I felt like they were going to cover that game anyway because I thought they were a good team. But besides that, we talked about before the Falcons Saints under. You actually, when I talked about my picks and stuff.
That's right. Yeah, I backed off it, but I know I chickened out. I should have taken that. I was so mad at myself.
I mean, I do my own handicapping work and everything. But me discussing games with you does help me out.
Yep,
and I looked into that even more, and it made sense. And when I looked into it, I loved it at the end of the day. It's just it was just a great spot right there. The running game, defense, everything was just perfect there. While I put the work in, Russ and we talk about games right here in front of the camera. I talked to one guy, he was like, how long do you take to handicap in these games before the show? Like, how do you prepare for the show? And I was like, really, honestly, I can speak for myself. I only do it the day of when we do it because I want to get all my rankings out for that day. So I do all my work then. And then Russ and we just go through, we just set up the lineup for the card, and that's it. And this is what you see right here. We talk about the games. We don't discuss what we like. We don't have any notes with that. Russ and I have known each other since high school. We've talked sports betting forever, more than I can remember. And we can just flow with it. And we disagree on games. We disagreed on a good amount of games, I felt like, last week. And I know, like, I like the Titans and you love the Browns, and that worked out. And games with the Cardinals and the Rams were on opposite sides. It just happened that way. It's not planned. We discuss the games, and sometimes we're on the same side, sometimes we're not, and that's the beauty of it all, because you get good sides of both ends. And Russ puts in great work. I put in good work as well, and it shows with the results either way. So I'm excited for this card.
Yeah, that's why this show is great, because it gets our gut reactions to these games early in the week. And I also replay our own video to watch and see, so you don't make any stupid mistakes of going against what you said earlier in the week. Don't go against yourself.
Absolutely.
I was all over the Browns because I just loved how that spread moved. I have like a special situations where if that spread was in between 1 to 4, that was just a great spot. So once I saw the Titans drop from 5.5 to 4, it just was a huge flag up to me to take the Browns. So definitely glad that came, because I needed that big play. Yeah, that was a huge play for me. I was stupid last week taking the Cardinals. I should have laid off of that, but you live and learn each week, and we're going to bounce back hard again this week. Well, not really bounce back hard. We had a great week, so just going over our loss.
We just want to keep going hard.
Yeah. We barely lost yesterday. You didn't lose at all, but we're going to keep rolling this week, and we'll jump into the first game. I'll let you start. Since I let you start last week on a terrible Bears game, I'll let you start in a little better game here. Patriots at Rams on Thursday. Rams are -5.5.
Yeah, so the Rams are -5.5 on home on Thursday night. The over-under is 44.5. Patriots. I was all over the Patriots on Sunday. and they absolutely dominated the Chargers and terrible coaching. It was an easy spot. They're up 45-0, which was outrageous. They had a blocked field goal for a touchdown. Everything just worked out. It was just a hot mess for the Chargers, like it has been all year. And I've hated backing them, because of Lynn. Lynn is a bad coach. And if he keeps this job after this year, I will be shocked. So I'm looking at the numbers over here. It just comes down to defense at the end of the day. Points against, Rams are ranked 5th. The Pats are ranked 7th. And, the pass defense is solid too. Rams are number 1, and New England's ranked 13th. I think it's going to be a defensive battle. The over-under is 44.5 for a reason. If I had to lean aside, I would lean the under, especially with the run games getting stuffed left and right. I think this will be a good spot, a good chess match between McVay and Belichick. I think it's going to be really close, and I'm not sure if I want to really take the spread on this, but I love the under on this game.
I kind of like that you're talking like that because it's making me lick my chops more on this Rams game because I feel like there's a lot of public perception coming on the Patriots right now.
Oh, 100% there is. Yeah, that's why I'm not touching the spread.
Yeah. So I love that the Patriots are coming off a 45-0 blowout win last week against a bad team in the Chargers. The Patriots are still, I kind of just keep my eyes on just how teams are just categorized. I have the Patriots in the middle, average team, not really going to make the playoffs. So 22nd in offensive yards a game on offense. The Rams are 2nd in defensive yards allowed a game. I just feel like the Patriots they run the ball. They love to run the ball. That's how they score. But they're finally facing the Rams who shut down the run. They're going to struggle in this game. It's a Thursday game on the road. It's just the perfect spot here. I looked at 3 teams that Cam Newton faced with good pass defenses. It was the Dolphins, 155 passing yards. 49ers, remember they got blown out, 98 passing yards. And then the Ravens, 118 passing yards. They won that game, but that was in the pouring rain. They didn't really put up any points in that game. This just seems like a great spot for me. You say under. I also just love the spot of the Patriots team total under. I'm pretty sure it's at 20 points. So I would go taking that under. I would take the under in the Patriots points in that game. But I lean Rams and the under in that game for sure.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. If I had to take 2 sides, I think taking the Rams here would be a good spot because the fact that everyone saw New England crush across country, I think it's going to be a lot of public perception. And I just think it's an underplay. I'm looking at the Rams stuff here. The worst thing they do is scoring offense. It's ranked 17th in the NFL. Everything else is rushing yards is 9th, passing yards is 6th, points against is 5th. New England's points against is 7th. I mean, it's going to be a really tight game. Maybe a touchdown victory for the Rams. Maybe.
Yeah,
I could say possibly.
Yeah, this game it just has the feel of that. Like when the Rams played the Bears early in the season. The Rams couldn't really score, but as the game progressed, they just put up about 24 points. I just don't see the Patriots scoring. So I think the under would probably be the smart play. It's just Goff. You never know what you're going to get. He could have a crazy game and get 30-some points or he gets the low 20s. He kind of that's why I'm more focused on the Patriots just not scoring that 20 points. Because if Patriots score over 20 points, I think they're definitely covering this game. But I just don't see that happening at all.
I don't see it either.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I'll jump into the next game. I got a lot of games this week. I feel like I got a lot of sides with the over-unders this week. So because the spreads do seem a little tough this week. We got the Kansas City Chiefs -7 at the Miami Dolphins, and the over-under is at 49.5. This is a game that I think is very tough. I can't really decide on this game. Chiefs, they aren't covering big spreads, but I just don't go against Mahomes in these spots because the Chiefs have been playing 4 straight close games, I think, the past 4 weeks. I do have my eye, though, on this over-under. I'd like the under 49.5 here. The Dolphins have solid cornerbacks, so I think they won't shut down Mahomes, but Mahomes gets a lot of points when he gets those deep passes. Teams are just letting him do the little dink and dunk, and I think the Dolphins will be smart enough not to give up those big plays. So I think the clock will be running a lot of complete short passes, and the Dolphins, they haven't been scoring points at all. They're averaging 17 points on offense the last 3 games. So I would go under 49.5. And this looks like one of the games I was looking at the public action. It looks like a lot of people. It looks like it's one of the most bet over games. So I definitely love the under here in this spot, going against the public in a spot where I think the defense should be able to control the Chiefs a little bit here. So what do you think about this game?
Well, I'm on you with that under over here. If you look at stats here, KC's ranked 7th at points against, and Miami's ranked 2nd in the entire NFL points against. So while these guys have built good leads and held them because people had to be desperate to score points, the over under 49.5. I think this is as low as an under as you can get over under number with Kansas City because their offense is so electric. I think it's a perfect spot for an under, and the fact that you even talked about the public betting the over like crazy, I think that's a good point as well. The rush defense for Kansas City is ranked 27th if you're looking for a spot that KC isn't really that good at. So the fact that their rush defense stinks, I think will kill more clock. So that possibly when the Miami does run that ball, then that will kill clock. That's kind of how I looked at it as. And Miami's rush defense is ranked 21st. So they're both their rush defenses are bad. That only leads to more clock getting killed. It might not lead to more points, but it'll lead to more clock getting killed. Those are like 6-yard gains, 6-yard gains, first down. It's not like getting stuffed and then you're going to get a throw against a really bad pass defense, and then you're just going to get yards after yards after yards because they're just cruising. Because a lot of coaches, like if they realize the pass is just working, they'll just ditch the run and they'll just throw at will. So while KC's ranked 2nd in scoring offense, Miami's ranked 16th in scoring offense. I mean, they're right in the middle of the pack. They're nothing amazing. You're getting like a Fitzpatrick Tua combination. You don't know what you're getting.
You got to think the Tua part of it too, because you got to think the Dolphins might have scored more points early in the season or gotten more yards. I feel like with Tua, they're playing more conservative. And
absolutely, yep.
They're not really putting up a lot of points. So, and he does complete a lot of his passes, Tua. I got to see his percentage. So a lot of those short passes, again, will run a lot of clock in that game. So as long as they just stop Mahomes from any huge plays, I think this is a good underplay here.
Yeah, and as far as Miami goes offensively, they're ranked 26th in rush yards per game. They're ranked 25th on pass yards per game. They really haven't been that great for the most part. I mean, there's flashes of Tua playing so well, and then Fitzpatrick is just getting backdoor cover. So you kind of just see that like at a quick public perception. I mean, I think it's a good point that you're saying that KC. I'm looking at them right now. And Kansas City, they won, the Denver game. That was 6 points. We talked about like a first half play with
another game.
Jump on that.
But Broncos and the Washington game, both we talked about the dogs.
Yeah, we talked about both of them there.
Teams, but definitely should have jumped all over those two last week. Yep, those were another 2 easy ones.
So you're looking at. I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm looking at the last 4 games.
Yeah,
have been decided by 2, 4. 3 and 6 points.
No,
I'm almost kind of leaning Kansas City here. I mean,
I was thinking the same way. They've played way too many close games. Exactly.
They're due for a blowout game where they can win by double digits. So if I'm leaning something, I'm probably leaning KC in the under, which is shocking because you won't see that combination often.
Yeah, and the Dolphins, they're covering about like 80 to 90% of their games. I forget what it was, and I looked back in the past. Teams don't cover. That doesn't hold up by the end of the season. So I don't know. I do see the Chiefs pulling away. Tua might struggle in that game. Who knows? Because he probably has to try to keep up with Mahomes, and it might cause him into turnovers.
Yeah, and if that game drops down to 6.5, I'm probably going to take KC really hard on it. If there's any chance of that going to 6.5, I might just put the account on him. Maybe I don't know. We'll see. I got to look more into it. But I mean, like if you're fortunate enough to get 6.5, I think that's the only play, especially after all these close games. You got to think Mahomes is going to be slinging at some point to like an extent where they're going to cover games.
That's true. All right, we'll jump into the next game. We got the Tennessee Titans -7 at the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the over-under is set at 53. This is a tough game here for the spread picking-wise. I mean, I say it every week about the Titans. I said it last week. Don't trust them as a favorite. Now they're 2-6 as a favorite this year against the spread after they lost last week. but the Jaguars, that just scares me that they've played well the past couple of weeks. They've played some close games, and I just can't trust the one of the worst teams in NFL to just keep playing well 3 straight games in a row. Uh, if I were to pick, I would actually take the over in this game. It's set at 53. They played early in the season. It was 33-30. Minshew was in that game, but I think the Titans, they came out sloppy last week against the Browns. They had the fumble to start the game. They just couldn't get going. They were down a couple scores. They ended up coming back easily. They were putting up some big plays against the Browns last week, got right back into that game. Facing the Jaguars here, they're going to run the ball. They're going to be able to pass the ball. They're going to be very comfortable. They know what they got to do coming off a loss. So I would lean more to the over because I think they could easily get 35 points in this game, and I think the Jaguars can sneak a little 20 points in for me. So I could see like a 35-20 type of game. I would side with the Titans in this game just because I can't trust the Jaguars to cover another spread. What are you feeling on this game?
You pretty much read my mind this game. I mean, there's a stat that I'm looking at for this over/under. The pass defenses are both ranked 28th and 29th for this game, and then Jacksonville's run defense, yards per game, is ranked 30th in NFL. I mean, this just fits perfectly into Tennessee's hands. I would consider definitely taking the over on this game at 53. I mean, Jacksonville, I'm looking at what they did last week against Minnesota, who kind of gives up the same amount of points as Tennessee. They put up 24 points against them, and I think Tennessee has more incapable chance of scoring 30 points against the Jags. I think that over is money. I think that over is money there by all means. And I like Tennessee to take it to them this game. I think they won't have an answer for Henry, and I think Tannehill's going to be able to sling it. So I like Tennessee in the over. I think you're on the right path with it. And I think you'd even kind of reverse them at this point. I think this is a good spot that you can get them at -7. I don't think it's ever dropping down past 7 because it's Jacksonville. If it does, that might be a weird red flag and we might have to reconsider something. But I like Tennessee with the spread, and I like the over at 53.
Nice. Yeah, I've been hearing about Jaguars have been getting banged up on defense too, so that's not good for a bad defense as it is. So their cornerbacks, I think, have been getting hurt, so I think they're just going to take advantage of these guys deep.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and then one more thing, points against. Tennessee's ranked 25th in the NFL, and Jacksonville's 29th. So they do give up points.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of points, and I don't know if you can make this over/under high enough because I think Glennon can throw a little bit, and he got a little lucky last week. He had a defender deflect the ball and win the. I was like,
and he even threw a couple interceptions last week too. So people are starting to get to him now. But I was looking at some of the history, like the past 10 to 12 matchups. This is the highest over/under that's been set. So nice. I love seeing that this is the highest over/under in a while. So this is definitely telling you this has got to be an over type of game.
I might even make a little over/under parlay. I'm kind of digging a lot of these over/unders as well. We might be able to make a little noise.
Yeah, this would be like those same game parlays. You could throw in the Titans. You could throw them the money line and then throw in the over, throw in a bunch of touchdowns by the Titans in this game because I think you could get a bunch of guys.
You could throw a Henry touchdown in there. You could throw a Brown touchdown.
Yep. So that's a nice little parlay you could throw in there. Yep. So we'll jump into the next game. We got the Minnesota Vikings at the Tampa Bay Bucks, and the Bucks are -6.5. What do you got for the over/under on this game?
The over/under I've at 51.5, pretty high.
Okay.
So I'm looking at this game. Pretty tough game. The rush defense for Tampa Bay is ranked first. That's a big part of Minnesota's offensive scheme is the play action, the run game. Points against Minnesota's ranked 26. Their pass defense is ranked 26. I know Tom Brady hasn't been the best passing. He's still ranked. They're ranked 10th in passing yards per game, so it's not as bad as people have been saying because he's been throwing a couple picks, so people were kind of concerned about that. So if I had to take something, I personally don't like this game. I'm probably going to stay away from it. I probably lean Tampa Bay this game, 6.5. it just seems like a good spot where they just shut down the run game, and then you're going to force Cousins to do something that he needs to do to come back in a game and throw the ball. And I think that's going to be very hard for him, even though Jefferson's been unbelievable and Thielen's amazing. They've been doing great stuff for Cousins this year. But if I had to take something, I would take 6.5. But overall, I think this is a stay away game for me.
Yeah. I like the Bucks here. I'm gonna debate too on that if I'm definitely gonna take them. I usually don't take favorites anyway. This I don't like when the lines sit there at the little sucker bet too at -6.5. I hate when that happens. I don't know. You got the Bucks though. This is just the perfect spot. I don't mind taking favorites that are great teams. So they're a playoff team. They're coming off 2 straight losses actually. And they're actually coming off their bye. So 2 straight losses and a bye, facing the Vikings, 24th in defensive yards allowed. I was taking a look back at Brady's games. All his games, I said this before, he struggles versus all the great defenses. But all the average to bad defense, he's put up 28 plus versus all those teams. So I would take the Bucks here because I don't know. I just don't think the Vikings are going to be able to keep up with them. I could see the final score being like a 28-20 type of game, because I think the Bucks would play this game too. Coming off the bye, and you're studying Cousins, who doesn't do anything special. The defense, because the defense actually gave up. The last game they played, I believe, was the Chiefs, and they're giving up all those deep passes to Hill. So you got to think, whenever you're coming into a bye, you figure out some of your problems. They're not going to give up those big plays this game, so gives them some motivation there to actually play some good defense in this game. So yeah, Bucks -6.5.
I think the fact that you're going to get some public reception with Minnesota just because you've recently seen them play, like you said, Tampa Bay coming off the bye, not looking too hot. I think this is a good spot. I think people are going to be kind of suckered into taking Minnesota this game, and if it goes up to 7.5, I think you're going to even get more Minnesota money, and it could just get real ugly for Minnesota backers here. So. If I had to take something, Tampa Bay -6.5.
Yeah, definitely. So the next game, we got the Arizona Cardinals -2.5 at the New York Giants. The over/under is 45.5. I like the Cardinals here actually. I made the mistake last week of taking them. It was just a dumb pick by me, but this is a week that I actually love them because playoff teams. You got a playoff team who I think is going to make the wild card this year. I was looking back at the seasons, and this team's coming off 3 straight losses, which is ridiculous. You rarely see a team lose 4 games in a row like this. I do not see them losing. Everyone's all high and mighty on the Giants because they're starting to win 100%. Some games. Exactly. So everyone's getting full. I looked back, the Cardinals' last 6 games, they're all by teams that are 500 or better. So that's why they've been losing games. They just had a tough schedule. They're hitting a little rough patch. I think we're just getting great value here. The Cardinals -2.5. I think they easily win this game. They're not going to be able to stop Murray. Giants play good defense, but I think I don't know. I just don't see them stopping the Cardinals in this game. And Murray's going to want to prove something. He's been playing bad these past couple games, and this is definitely a perfect spot for him to show up. What do you think about this game?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Last week, agreements and stuff, but I'm on board with you again. I love the Cardinals here. I think this is a great spot for them. New York Giants coming off a big emotional win at Seattle, which is outrageous. They went cross country and beat the Seattle Seahawks, who've been touted all year. Russell Wilson, this and that. And Colt McCoy goes there and wins that game. I mean, you're going to get a lot of love from the Giants here. And, I mean, their defense has been solid. They're ranked 9th points against. And believe it or not, Arizona's been ranked 14th with points against. So, I mean, they haven't been horrible. Scoring offense, I'm just going to break it down for you. Arizona's ranked 9th in scoring offense. The Giants are ranked 30th. And then you're getting Colt McCoy on top of that. So, I think an Arizona Cardinals defense, which isn't the best in the world, gets even a little better because of that, because Seattle's defense stinks. We know this. We know their pass defense is terrible, and people still think of the Legion of Boom and everything like that. So you're getting unbelievable value with the Arizona Cardinals, a team that I loved all year, and I've been pretty much on point with them from every game. I've been against them. I've been with them. I love them at 2.5. You give it 2.5, get them now. And the over-under 45.5, I'll take that under all day because I think actually Arizona's defense is going to step up this week. And I think running the ball Arizona's ranked 9th in rushing yards per game, and New York's ranked 11th. New York's been unbelievable running the ball, shockingly, with like nobody. I don't know if Freeman's been running. I don't even know who's been running. You could have been running in the backfield. I have no idea. But they're ranked 11th right now. So all I know is that's going to kill clock. That's a big deal. They're going to get first down to kill that clock. Murray's going to be running wild. It's just going to be a nice Arizona, nice comeback game. They're not going to lose this game. 2.5, Arizona Cardinals. If you want to play the under, I'm all for it too.
Yeah, I just can't see it. The Giants, they're playing better, but now they're stepping up in competition. Coming off what you just said, coming off the biggest win of the season.
Absolutely, 100% biggest win.
Yeah, that's too tough right there. The next game, we got the Texans -1 at the Bears, and the over-under is at 44.5. I'll let you go first on this one.
Fantastic. I'll take another toilet.
Let you take the Bears.
You give me the toilet balls. I'll take them. I'll take the toilet balls. Not a problem. So we got Houston -1. The over-under is 44.5. I'm looking at my board here. I'm looking Houston. I'm looking Chicago. I see all red. I see red. My shirt's red. My whole board's red. If you're looking for some bright sides to these teams, Houston's ranked 2nd in passing yards because Deshaun Watson's a good quarterback, but they always have to come back constantly. I think I just saw Doink with this field goal over here by the Cowboys. I had the Cowboys game on as well. Cowboys-Ravens. That's what we're recording right now. Shankopotamus over there. But anyway, I'm going to get out of there. That's just going to be a wild game. So Chicago, their best thing they do, points against, ranked 12th. We know their defense has been pretty stout. But it's crazy, though, because their rush defense yards per game and their pass defense yards per game are both ranked 17th. They're just a little bit worse than average. It's just they haven't got good QB play from Trubisky and Nick Foles. It's been back and forth. Nagy just can't make play calls. He's got to get to offensive coordinator. It's been a hot mess, back and forth. And Houston's defense just stinks. They came up big for me when they played Thanksgiving. That was awesome. That was the best spot in the world for the Houston Texans. And we were all over that. It was fantastic. If you follow me, I'm at Chris Ebom. Russ is at Vegas Line Reader. We put our plays out. It was just a great play right there. So I'm looking at this game. If I had to take something, yikes! I don't even know at this point. I'm like looking at something.
I think you said it right there.
I think this is the ultimate stay away game. But if I had to take something, because I think Deshaun Watson can score points, I would take the over 44.5 because I think Trubisky can do enough with his legs to score. Even though they're ranked 12th with points against, but Houston's ranked 24th, and Deshaun's gonna have to, if they're gonna score on the Texans, Deshaun's gonna pull some stuff out of his butt to score. So if I had to take something, it'd be the over 44.5. But I think this is just a huge stay away game.
Yeah, this is a stay away game for me. If I were to lean something, I'd actually take the over in this game. Just watching the Bears last week, they're known for their defense, but it just seems like the team's given up on the coach now when the defense isn't even playing for them. So I would go over here because the Texans don't play defense at all. They give up their 30th in yards allowed. I think we're just getting good value here at 44.5. Both teams just got to hit the 20 marks, and I think it gets there. This game could be like 21-21, probably goes to OT. Whoever kicks the winning field goal wins the game. You know what I mean? So we'll jump into the next game. We got the Broncos at the Panthers -3.5. This game actually just jumped out to me just looking at the spread. I would have thought that the Panthers would be like -1, -2 in this game. They're at -3.5. So I looked further into this game. It looks like the cornerback, A.J. Boye, he just got suspended because of PED. So they're down a cornerback. And they also just lost one of their other, I think, slot corners. Last week in the Chiefs game, he went down. So the secondary's banged up. They're missing guys, and the Panthers have good receivers. So I think they could take advantage of that. And McCaffrey's back. So everything just looks good for the Panthers to take this week. What do you think?
Yeah. So I'm looking at this game, Denver, Carolina, -3.5. The over-under's 46.5. This is a tough spot here. So Carolina, they're coming off the bye, correct? They're coming off the bye. McCaffrey's back.
That's right.
If I'm looking at some stats right here, the scoring offenses just simply can't score. 31st for Denver, 21st for Carolina. if I had to lean something, I probably would lean the under because I think the run game's going to be pretty good here for Carolina. Well, actually, Denver's rush yards per game is ranked 12th, so that could actually kill the clock a little bit more. So I can see that may run down the clock a little bit more for the most part. And the pass defense by Denver is ranked 8th in the NFL. So if I had to lean something, I would lean the under 46.5. But if I had to take a side, I probably would just take Carolina based on the fact that I like Matt Rule. I like him coming off the bye. You talked about the injuries with the corners with Denver, and they just came off that big emotional game against Denver where they gave it their all, and they still lost by 6. Locke's kind of a loose cannon. He's all over the place. He's a gunner. That's just who he is. And he might get himself in a little bit of trouble with this defense, shockingly. But if I had to take something, I'd take the under 46.5. And if I had to lean aside, I would take 3.5. But overall, this is going to be a game I'm going to stay away from.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I probably wouldn't take it just because the Panthers are favored. I'm usually an underdog type guy, and I think the Broncos are just getting too much value. It scares me too much. And just looking at what Locke was saying last week after that loss, it just seems like they're going to start giving up. It doesn't seem like they have too much energy. All these guys keep getting hurt. We're getting toward the end of the season, and it doesn't seem like these guys really care anymore. The next game, we got the Jets at the Seahawks minus 13.5. And the over-under set for this game is at 47. Who do you like here?
I actually like the dog here. I like the Jets, shockingly. 13.5. Greg Williams, not Doug Williams. Greg Williams. He just got fired as defensive coordinator. He was absolutely terrible for those guys. Those guys are a bunch of morons out there getting defensive penalties constantly left and right. I think getting a new head in there to get this defense right, I think will be important. Seattle's pass defense blows, is 32nd in the NFL, and their points against is 22nd. So I think Darnold might actually have a decent little game against them. I know the Jets stink. I understand this. Their rush defense is ranked 11th, so that can slow down Carson a little bit. If you can get this at like 14.5, I'm all over the Jets. I might be with them at 13.5. This is a team that's the Seahawks I might consider taking as a survivor. If you don't know my survivor picks of late, they all pretty much haven't covered the last 5 games, and I feel like they've all gone. And I feel like they've all gone over at that time. I don't know the exact numbers off the top of my head. I actually love the over in this game, over 47. I think the Jets are going to put up some decent points. If I had to play something, the safest play for this is over 47. Slam dunk. I know Jets are ranked the worst in scoring offense, but you know what? Everything's been kind of messed up with them throughout the entire year with Flacco and Darnold playing and back and forth. I just think the Jets are going to be able to score points against this defense. I think this defense is not good with Seattle, and I think Russell's going to put on a show as well. So my favorite play is over 47, but I would take the Jets too here.
Yeah, I think that's smart. I'm more leaning just because it's the Jets and they just covered last game, but I'm leaning more over in this game as well. Both teams' 2 worst pass defenses in the NFL.
100%. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. The Jets will do just enough. And Wilson, he had a bad game last week. The Giants do play defense, but the Jets do not play defense at all. So he's going to put up 30s. Since he had a bad week as well, he's definitely got to put up 30s this week. So I would definitely take over 47 in that game. The next game, we got the Colts minus 2.5 at the Raiders. An over-under set at 51.5. This is also a tough game to pick a side. If I were to pick, I'd lean the Colts in this game. Josh Jacobs, he is banged up. We saw last year how this team just struggled at the end of the season when Jacobs went down, and they looked bad last week against the Jets. Mainly, Carr looked good last week because the Jets are terrible against pass. But now they're actually facing a good defense in the Colts. I don't see Carr doing much. This has like a playoff feel towards the end of the season. Yeah, so I'm more of under 51.5. I think this is we're getting a 51.5 here. I think it's going to be a little bit of a battle. And Rivers has been putting up a lot of points. I just see this being a little bit of a battle on the road, and he's not going to be putting up a ton of points like he has been.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good point you brought up, the 51.5. We talked about last show with Tennessee and the Browns. I like that under because I was like, well, I thought maybe you're gonna get a little feel with that, and then it ended up being like 1,000 points. So I was like completely off. But so this is like the ultimate stay away game for me. I just covered with Philip Rivers last week, which it got kind of dicey towards the end. I can't. It's hard for me to put my money on Philip Rivers to cover again because I just don't think he's that good. But I think Frank Wright's a good enough play caller to get these guys to win. So if I had to lean something, I would lead Indy -2.5. This is kind of the same situation when Buffalo went to Las Vegas. And I love the Raiders that game. That was like, I couldn't talk more about the Raiders that game because I thought that line was weird and I thought everything was fitting for the Raiders. And they ended up just losing by more than 2.5. So this is like almost the same spot. So if I had to take something, I would take Indy -2.5. But it'll be a fun game to watch. I'm just going to watch from the sidelines, enjoy myself on the red zone watching this game. But if I had to lean, it would be Indy -2.5. And the over-under, geez, I don't even know. This is just such a tough game. I guess maybe, I can see where you're coming from because maybe we might, but when these games are over-under 51s, it's so hard to take these unders. So if I had to lead something, I would take Indy -2.5, but I'm definitely not touching this game.
Nice. All right, the next game we got is the Green Bay Packers -7.5 at the Detroit Lions, and the over/under for this game is at 55. What do you like for this game?
It's plain and simple. I'm looking at my board. Green Bay is just green across the board. Number one scoring offense, 8th rushing yards, 5th passing yards, 15 points against, 14th rush defensive yards, and pass defensive yards. I think Green Bay is going to actually blow off the doors off Detroit. I think Detroit, the fact that they won that game out of nowhere against Chicago, I think they're going to get false hope. And I think Aaron Rodgers, he loves sticking it to these division teams more than ever. And now you're getting them at 7.5, and it's just, I don't know. I like the over too, 55. I think that's a good play as well because while Green Bay's pass defense and just scoring defense has been like average for the most part, points against, Detroit's ranked 31st. They've been absolutely terrible. They're bad defensively everywhere. They're in just shambles. They got their win after their head coach left, which we always talk about all the time. Teams, when they get that interim coach, they tend to always cover those games. This is the hangover game, and Aaron Rodgers is just gonna freaking stick it to them, and it's just gonna be disgusting. I would take the over 55, and I would take Green Bay -7.5. If this doesn't go past 10 points, I'm probably gonna take Green Bay. Honestly, this is gonna be a double-digit victory.
Yeah. This is a game where I would say the over in this game is what I would probably pick in this game if I had to pick. These big spreads, I wouldn't just be so confident with the Packers. 7.5 is a lot of points on the road. It all depends if Galladay comes back. If they don't have Galladay, I think they just overachieved last week. But if he comes back, I'm confident that the Lions can keep scoring points. I probably would avoid the over too. It's all with Galladay. They've just been clicking on offense, but without Galladay, it's either they do horrible or they do put up some points. They're just way too inconsistent. But definitely I can see Rodgers. He's definitely going to put up his points. So this game's all really going to depend on how many points does the Lions really score, really. Do the Packers let them backdoor them at the end of the game? Because they could be up, 35-21, and Stafford, he loves getting backdoor covers. So this is probably more of an over type of game, I would say. So if I were to lean, I'd lean over. So the next game, we got the New Orleans Saints -7.5 at the Philadelphia Eagles, and the over/under for this game is at 44.5. This game, I like the Eagles here and the under. This is just how the Saints have been lately. That with Taysom Hill, he isn't lighting up the scoreboard. The Eagles also have the motivation factor. I love that Jalen Hurts is getting a start this week. So I love that motivation for the defense. You saw how jacked up they were against Russell Wilson a couple weeks ago. When that defense wants to come out to play, they do play. And then you also got the Saints. They're a dome team. They're coming. It's starting to get cold out here on the East Coast. They're coming to play in a cold weather game. I think they're just going to try to play that smash mouth type of game. This is going to be just like we talked about last week with the under Saints Falcons last week. but this is actually going to be a cold game, and both ways it's just going to be smash mouth type of football. So I would lean probably more the under in this game than I would lean the Eagles because I just don't trust them. I don't know if Hurts is going to end up getting any turnovers. That's going to cost me taking the Eagles. So I would definitely go under in this spot. What do you like here?
Yeah, my favorite play here is, you're right, the under. I absolutely love the under. 44.5 is a steal. You know that the Saints run the ball with Taysom. He hasn't done a whole lot as far as just stretching out the field, if you will, like a Drew Brees normally would. I actually do like the Saints here. I'm on the opposite side of you. The fact that they're ranked 25th on rush yards per game, their pass defense has been more of their shining part of their defense. They've been pretty solid. Slay's been real good. I know he got kind of cooked a little bit in Green Bay. He's a little banged up, so we'll see how that goes. But I just don't think they're gonna have a. Kamara's gonna give him troubles left and right.
It's true.
And I just think them running the ball. I think them running the ball.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a problem. I like the Saints here. I love the under. The under I absolutely love. I'm probably gonna play the under.
Yeah.
The scoring offense, we know the Eagles haven't been able to score, and the fact that Hurts came in the Green Bay and he looked pretty good because of the 50-yard prevent defense and everything like that. Now they know he's going to be the starter. I think they're going to cook up a lot of things for him. Malcolm Jenkins plays for the Saints team, so he knows a lot about this team.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to have a lot of very good insight. I think.
So Wentz is lucky that they didn't know he would have been in trouble this week if Wentz was in.
The Saints defense has been amazing. So I mean,
definitely
they already are not scoring. So the fact that now they're throwing in a guy for his first start, who I don't even like anyway. I've never been a Jalen Hurts fan. I think CeeDee Lamb was the truth, and I always felt like Jalen Hurts always got great talent around him, and I never was really a believer in Hurts. And I get it. He's like a gamer. He throws the ball okay. Yeah, I mean, he's a good runner. I don't know. I just think he's kind of a gimmicky kind of guy. Maybe I might be eating my own words later on in life, but you know what? I just never believed in him when he was at Alabama, and I feel like he's always been around great talent. And yeah, he's tough. I get he's tough, but I mean, he's a good college quarterback. He is. He's a good college quarterback because he's been surrounded with great talent. But now he's in the NFL, and now he's got to get the right reads and everything like that. He doesn't have great guys like CeeDee Lamb bailing him out. The Eagles don't have those kind of guys. Ertz and Goddard are the closest things to that at this point. Jeffrey's just hanging out, just getting a paycheck. He's pushing off winners. I mean, it doesn't even matter at this point. He's not even getting too much help. I mean, honestly, if the Eagles actually ran the ball with Miles Sanders more often, they might actually have a shot at covering this game. But I don't know what they're going to do. It's so hard to see what they're going to do.
I know. If you are playing for the Saints though, just looking at this game on your schedule though, it just seems like you're dominating your division these past couple of games. You're pretty comfortable. Now you're coming into this cold weather game, and I saw the Saints actually have the Chiefs next week, so they might be eyeing that game up.
That's a good point.
Super Bowl game. But I think like a 20, like they could possibly get a cover. I could just see like a 20-14. But again, I'm more leaning this under because you remember the Eagles last year, they were terrible at the end of the season, but the defense just stepped up and they played like this they did with the Seahawks the other day. Like it all depends on if the defense steps up in this game. I think they get the cover because Taysom Hill just isn't passing the ball.
No, he isn't. You're right about that.
Good at stopping the run. Yeah.
I just think it's more of a fate of Jalen Hurts at the end of the day. But I'm with you 100% with the under 44.5. I think that's a great play.
If you're going to take it, grab it now. Exactly. Because it probably
grab it now because I think it's going to keep going down.
Yeah.
I think it's going to go down.
Yeah. So we'll jump into the next game. We got the Washington football team at the San Francisco 49ers -3.5. And the over-under for this game is 43.5. What do you got here?
Yeah, this is kind of a weird game because you're looking at the fact that is Garoppolo going to play? He's had that ankle injury, and Kittle didn't play last week. So there's a lot of question marks here. Alex Smith actually looked okay this game for the most part. He's a guy that's going to keep fighting through and trying to cover spreads. It originally started at 4.5. It dropped down to 3.5. If I had to lean something, I'd lean the under 43.5. But overall, this game, there's not much read to this game, and I don't think this game's going to be bet at all, really. So
Yeah.
if I had to take something, I would take the under 43.5.
Yeah, this is a game. I'm leaning the Washington in this game.
Sure, yeah, I'm about that side too.
Yeah, because I just don't trust Nick Mullins as a favorite if he is playing in this game.
Yeah,
and Washington's defense has been playing really well. It's not like they're stepping up in class playing a great offense in the Niners. They're just still facing another average offense. The defense has given up 14 points per game the last 3 games. So they're definitely playing good defense, and they shut down the Steelers last week. So they're starting to get some confidence. And Alex Smith, he's just starting to find ways to win these games, just not turning the ball over. So just don't turn the ball over in this game. And we're getting 3.5. So I think this could go down to 3 later in the week. So I would grab it at 3.5 now before it drops, because it looks like some of these underdogs are being bet sharp and dropping, like we saw with the Browns last week. Yeah,
absolutely. I couldn't agree more. If you want to take the Skins now, take them right now, because that line will drop. I mean, San Fran did not look good, and now that they're laying this many points, that line's going to go down. So if you want to take the Skins, take them now. Oh, well, not the Skins, if you will. If you want to take the Washington football team.
I let one slide, but now another one's flying out there. I don't know, man. I had to stop.
Yeah. So if you want to take Washington, take them now. If you want to take San Fran, wait, because that line's going to drop. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So the next game, we got the Atlanta Falcons -2.5 at the Los Angeles Chargers. The over-under's at 49.5.
You want to break down this toilet bowl too?
Yeah.
There's zero chance of me touching this game.
Yeah.
These two teams are poorly coached. Mm-hmm. They both can score. It's a hot mess. Both teams will screw you either way. Honestly, if I'm going to take something, I might take the tie. I think these teams might
could happen.
These teams are both embarrassing states of fair. The Falcons are -2.5. I'm not going to get too much into this because it's not worth a lot of people's time on this game. Over under 49.5. I'll tell you what, if you want to take a little flyer, feeling froggy, take the tie, because these teams both blow.
No matter what, you'll get screwed by the Falcons anyway. So you might.
Yeah, regardless, exactly. You get screwed by land on the Chargers or screwed by the Falcons. It doesn't even matter.
Take the game, but for everyone else out there, I would probably take the Falcons just because I just feel like Lynn's going to get fired. If he loses this game, then this is this like firing game. He just got blown out. He loses this again. This team's got to be giving up on him. If they're losing 45-0 in that Patriots game, I don't know. And I don't know. It's weird. I looked at the over-under real quick. I figured it would be like in the 50s. It's at 49.5. I don't know. I just figured that this would be a back and forth like in the 50s. Yeah. So just by reading the line, I'm kind of thinking it might go under. Could just be a weird under game where everyone's taking the over. But I just, looking at the line, I just would definitely think it should be in the 50s. Looking at the quarterbacks. Yeah.
49.5's really low.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me. So that's why I think for the Falcons to be favored on the road like that, they are pretty good at stopping the run. So maybe the Chargers just look ugly because they only put up 17 against the Bills a couple of weeks ago. So maybe the offense is just not clicking right now, and that could be why the over-under is a little low than it should be. So I would just lean Falcons and the under on that game. So we'll definitely get out of that game. We'll jump into the last game. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Buffalo Bills, -2.5, and the over-under for that is 47. Who do you like here?
Well, I'm looking at a couple things. Pittsburgh just losing that Washington game. Everyone keeps talking about it. I know Tomlin's a good coach. I know this. Buffalo is rolling. They're on the high horse right now and everything. I know we talked about before this about some maybe COVID situations with Pittsburgh or injury situations. Over-under's 47. I kind of like Pittsburgh here getting points. I think they probably come out here and win this game, especially in Buffalo. I think Tomlin has had enough of all this nonsense that's been going on with them losing against the Skins, a game that they really weren't even really caring about. Now I think they get up for this game. This is Buffalo. They know this is an important game. I'm just going off the coach here. Pittsburgh is all in the green with me. Their points against #1, 6 rush defensive yards, 2nd pass defensive yards. Their defense has been solid. I think they might get Allen a little shook up, maybe a little bit this game.
Mm-hmm.
So give me the points with Pittsburgh because I think they can win this game outright.
Yeah, that's why I have to look at this. Is early in the week, guys. So this is a type of game that I'm waiting on to see what the heck's going on because I can just tell by looking at the lines. You see the Bills are -2.5, and I just jumped out to me like the Bills are favored in this game. I don't know. It just seems odd to me. I have this down as the Steelers should be -2. So I checked out some things, and it looks like there are some defensive injuries to the Steelers here. There's a bunch of guys, Hayden. There's some guys on concussion protocol. So some guys in the secondary are hurt. If the defense was healthy, if some guys get back, I would think this is an under type of game, under 47. But this is a game I'm just going to lay off and wait till later in the week. We'll give some info on this game if people have any questions for us about the game.
Yeah, I think I think it's a good game to wait on. I think there's gonna be a lot of line movement in this game depending on what goes on. So which side you want to play with.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of leaning Pittsburgh, but this probably won't be a game I take at the end of the day. Unless I don't know. Maybe if I get 3.5, maybe I will take Pittsburgh. But I think you brought up a good point. We're gonna wait and see what really happens within the week because this is a Monday night game. So it'll be a great game to watch regardless because Allen's been fun to watch. So.
Yeah, especially the Steelers coming off a loss and everyone's all high and mighty on the Bills. I don't know. The Bills still didn't really run the ball. They still don't know how to run the ball. And you're facing the Steelers team. You're not going to get away with that. A team that can actually rush the passer. They weren't getting any pressure on Allen last night. So definitely think the Steelers can get pressure on them. And if you're giving me points with the Steelers, I'll take that all day. But we'll jump out of this and we'll jump into your survivor this week. You're still alive and pretty impressive. We're at week 14, so definitely impressive. You're still alive. Just got to get through this. You're almost there.
I'm almost there. I almost see the finish line. I'm so close.
Yeah.
And honestly, I was watching that Jets Raiders game, and I was watching it, and then I saw they didn't score, and I just turned it off. And I was like, you know what? I lost it. And I was like, you know what? I'm just like, whatever. I'm going to concentrate on these games. I'm having a really great day, and everything's going well.
Oh, yeah,
it just stinks.
True, yeah.
It's like stinks. I'm like, you know what? I just got the Jets' first win, and I'm like, this sucks. Like, I'm just like, this blows. Like, the one game the Jets win, and then I go on my ESPN app to check scores, and I see the bottom line. It says, Jets colossal collapse. I'm like, what are you talking about? They just went 4 and out with like a minute and something left. And I saw that Waller's been a baller, to say the least. Yeah. He's been unbelievable. Mm-hmm. And they end up scoring and winning that game. I couldn't believe I was alive. I swear to you, I thought I was done. And you know what? Those are the kind of years I think you need when you're doing a Survivor. I mean, I've never personally won a Survivor, but I feel like you need those kind of games where you're like, you think you're done, you turn the TV off, and that's it. And that was one of my games. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
Definitely, yeah, definitely.
And now that I've used a lot of these teams now that weren't that good, like the Cowboys and a bunch of them like that, had about 4 or 5
perfect spot with the Giants. You got able to take the Giants against the Bengals. That was perfect. Burrow went down because that week was tough. Sometimes it just falls in place for you. You just got to wait for the injuries to happen.
Yeah, and I've taken a lot of bad teams in good spots, and that's been important. My strategy was in the beginning was take big favorites. I knew that we're going to win. I advance. I wanted to advance through like week 6, week 7 or so. Once I got about week 10, 11, I was like, you know what? I finally took a chance with the Giants. That was my big chance, if you will. Yeah. And they ended up doing okay. And I had to rely on Colt McCoy to win that game against the Bengals. The defense came up big for me for the Giants, and that was huge. So luckily for me, this has been played out beautifully. This is how I had it in my head for this last couple of weeks. I'm taking the Seahawks. They just lost to the Giants. outrageous. I couldn't be even happier that they lost.
Dang, that was a good thing that they lost. Yeah.
This is a must-win game for the Seahawks in their division, especially with the Rams playing so well. They need to win this game. There's no joking around. They just were joking around with the Giants, and they lost that game. Russell Wilson needs to win this game. I love it. If I lose it, then so be it. If I had to look at another game that I like, I'm almost kind of leaning the Rams. Like, if I had the Rams available, I would almost take the Rams. I almost kind of like them in that spot. And if I had to look at somebody else, I would probably take, honestly, the Saints.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah. I don't see the Saints losing the game in there. So, even the Titans. I don't see the Titans. I could see them. I can see them winning a close game, but I just don't see the Titans losing there after they just lost. They're going to put up so many points in that game. I just do not see them losing to Jacksonville. But definitely glad that you have Seattle, because I wouldn't be fully confident on some of these other games. Green Bay and Lions. I mean, the Green Bay should kill them, but it's a division game. You never know what could happen. Anything could happen in any of these games. So.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, I'm just so happy they honestly lost. And now that I can take Seattle, I was planning on taking Seattle. This was my spot. I was going to take them. I didn't take them forever. It just happened to work out that way. And then that'll be used up. And then I only got 3 weeks left. And
that's what I was going to ask you. Do you have eyed up what you have for the last 3 weeks, or there's 1 week that's really tough?
So funny you said that. So I'm looking at week 15.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at. Let's see. I'm looking at teams I haven't used yet. I don't believe I used the Rams yet. I don't think I've used them. They're playing the Jets at home.
Anytime you're playing the Jets and you're getting a top 10 team in NFL,
I
take that all day.
I believe. Don't get me wrong. I think I still have the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm looking at somebody else that I haven't used, you know what? I'm running really thin right now.
Do you still have the Ravens? You use the Ravens, probably, right?
I think I used the Ravens. I have to look back to my board list. But I think honestly, I think I still have the Rams.
If you have the Rams, that's definitely huge, because a lot of these games look pretty tough.
Yeah.
That's what happens toward the end. You're going to have one game that's going to be like a -3 that you're going to end up taking, probably, like in the last. And who knows? Week 17's crazy. Everyone sits their players. So.
Oh, well, that too on top of that. And then I'm also looking at the Cardinals versus the Eagles. I would consider the Cardinals that game. That would be one I would consider. I don't think I have the Cardinals. I don't think I took the Cardinals yet. But that's about it. I mean, honestly, it would probably come down to either the Cardinals or the Rams, but I think I still have the Rams, so I'm probably going to use them the next week. I mean, I'm rolling the dice against a team who I think might go 0 for the entire year.
Yeah,
but the Rams have been so solid on defense. I think
I see a spot that you might be able to take, but you're probably not going to like it. It looks like it's week 16. There's the Texans at home against the Bengals. That's probably going to be like a 6 or 7 spread or something like that, I bet.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? That might be a spot where I take the Texans. I mean, I'm running out of teams at this point. I'm at that end of the season. That's a good spot right there. I think I already took the Chargers already for week 17.
What about the Browns? Did you take the Browns? You're gonna have to. I know it's a lot of teams. You got to go all the way through again.
I just hate it. I mean, like, am I really gonna bet against the Jets going 0-0 for the entire season? Yeah. They might win a game somewhere.
No, they've had their chances. They had the time to win was last week. I don't know who they're playing week 17. I don't have this week 17 up for me. But usually those teams end up squeaking out a win, and their spread's usually like 7 or lower when they get involved in those games. Like Raiders was a spot that I was worried about the Raiders, because they ended up not having Jacobs. People started being out right before game time, but that's a game where you're like, they're just got to win the game, but not cover the spread, you know?
You know what's pretty funny, though? So I was looking at, like, the last week of the season, and I'm like, I'm so going to use the Eagles against Washington the last week of the season, because I was like, you know what? They need to win this game. They just lost to the Redskins. I was like, you know what? That's me perfect. I'm going to take the Eagles for the last week. That's completely out the window. So, like, it's going to be crazy for week 17, because I'm going to have like half the the group to pick from. Well, I actually kind of do have the Patriots against the Jets.
That's what I'm saying. You could just that's the game where the Jets could win, maybe.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that could be a team because they might underachieve for the season, and those are the type of teams that
they will win that last game.
Yeah,
it's
like the Browns.
I
they're going to make
hope.
it.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
So they could beat
if I get to that point, I'll be extremely happy.
Yeah,
but
take it 1 week at a time. So we'll start to.
For now, Seahawks is the play right now. I think if you have them, great. If not, then I think a couple teams that we were looking at. Let me just double check again. So I would take the Saints. I think Saints are definitely winning this week. If you have them, Cardinals. I think Cardinals is good as well. And there's some definitely good spots. I mean, I could be wrong. I kind of hope I am wrong on some of these because then it's going to really lower my survivor.
Yeah, I think the Bucks. I'm not 100% that they cover the game, but I think they should win that game against the Vikings. Coming off 2 straight losses, I don't see them losing 3 straight, and they're coming off that bye. So it could be a close game, but I just don't see them losing that game. And the Vikings have been winning. It doesn't look like it, but the Vikings have actually been winning a lot, so they're definitely due for a loss here. They've just been winning some ugly games.
Yes.
Stepping up in competition. So that should close out the show, though. So definitely love the info we gave out this week. Definitely feel confident in our picks. Make sure you guys check us out on YouTube here. Make sure you hit the like button down below. Subscribe to our channel. Make sure you check out, and we're going to put up more videos week to week. You can follow our picks. You can follow my personal pages on Twitter at Reese. I just started putting out free picks, and I also have a service where I give out all my big plays. You can follow me at Vegas Line Reader. You can also follow Chris. He's been putting out. He's been red hot, 12-0 in his last 12 picks, right?
Yep.
I'll throw it over to him. You can follow him at Chris Ebom on Twitter. And I'll swing it over to Chris and talk more about what you got coming up this week.
Yeah, so yesterday I was on Fox Sports A Gambler with Sean Brace. We talked about my great run I had, 12-0, pretty incredible. And we broke down the Monday night games. I was dead on. We talked about the Skins. We talked about the Bills. Those were the 2 plays we liked, and they both hit again. So it keeps flowing. It's running well right now. We're gonna ride this through. Russ has been great. I've been great as well. You can follow me at Chris Ebom. I've been putting out my plays already for college. So if you follow me, or you're gonna start following me. Follow me now because I put up plays for Thursday, Friday, Saturday for college already. Spots I already like in the games. Before the lines change for college. I already like them. NFL, typically, we always put out our plays Sunday morning. If we like the Thursday game, then we'll probably play it, of course, Thursday. But for the most part, we've been on fire. Not going to lie. Russ and I have been doing really well. And we're getting things cooking right now. We're getting the right data in there. And just from our past experience betting games, we're seeing the same kind of scenarios that we've seen before. Russ talked about it with the Browns, with that line dropping down to 4.5. That's brilliant. It was a blowout winner, So we've been on top of these. So follow at Chris Ebom, follow at Tackle the Board, follow at Vegas Slimer, at Russ Reese. These are very important things. We're on Instagram, everything else. And I urge this more than ever. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Tackle the Board. Very important. You do not want to miss out when we put out these videos. It's very important because we break down every game. So whether you like a game, you want to get a feedback from my side or Russ's side. So it's very important. So make sure you subscribe to our channel. Very important. Tell your people that bet the games. Subscribe to this channel. They break down every game. If you got any question about the game, we break it down. And most importantly, you can direct message us as well. I've answered a lot of questions from people based on certain games, where I feel at certain spots, whether I stay away or not. So very important. Subscribe to the YouTube page.
Yep. And just want to let all the guys that have subscribed that we do appreciate all the guys and even the guys that have been tipping us for our winners. And we've been red hot. So if you guys have been betting on sports, you know that you want to ride those hot streaks. So make sure you guys are following us. And
it's important. People have been hitting 5-game parlays. I've been meeting new people that have been following me left and right. The people are hitting the parlays. People are generous. I couldn't be any happier with the tips. The tips have been fantastic. just asking for a little bit because we don't charge the picks. The picks are free
Mm-hmm.
here. Russ has his service for his top plays.
Mm-hmm.
That's important. I highly recommend buying into those because he does his work and his top plays are money, no doubt. So the fact that we give out free plays and we're giving out great leans and everything like that, and you guys are cashing. You guys have to be cashing because I've been 12-0, so there's no excuse about it. So, but the guys that have been tipping everything, I cannot appreciate more than ever. Thank you guys. Glad you guys are crushing, bashing your bookies. Couldn't be any happier. We're going to continue with this, no doubt.
Yep. Definitely confident, and we're going to kick some ass again this week. I like our feedback back and forth. We were actually against each other on some games, but seems like we're on the right page this week. So definitely make sure you guys get these bets in, and this will close out the show. Let's make some money.
Let's tackle that board.